Direct from Foxborough, Massachusetts, the gem of Norfolk County, and taped at the studios of Foxborough Cable Access. It's Foxborough Central, and here's your host, Bob Hickey.
And welcome to another episode of Foxborough Central. I am Bob Hickey, I am your host, and I want to thank you for taking the time to join with me and my guests as we talk about the people, events, and organizations that make Foxborough truly the gem of Norfolk County. Now, as we know, Foxborough is the region, and what makes us special but also makes us challenged is how do we deal with our young people wanting to stay in our communities, and then on the other end of life spectrum, our elderly or our seasoned citizens, how do we make an affordable way for them to stay with us as well? And perhaps that is the best way to lead into today's program. I'm joined by Eric Calderwood. Eric, thank you so much for joining us today.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me.
And Eric is the Area Director of Community Relations for All-American Assisted Living at Rentham. It's a mouthful, and
it
is one of those things where for those of us who drive 495 or Route 1, and we see down at that Route 1 14 exchange, the lovely new construction going on there. It's been something where we've wondered for these last 30 years, gee whiz, what is ever going to go in there? Well, now we see it, but we don't know what it is, but now we're going to find out. So what is it? What is all that construction going on?
Yeah, so right as you're coming off the exit, you can actually see us being built right there. It's the new ledgeway area. That's what the overall complex is called.
Okay.
And there's going to be some shopping in there. There's going to be some dining.
We saw the restaurant that's got the sign up now. So
sure. Yep, the 110 Grill. And then we're building our newest assisted living community, All-American Assisted Living at Rentham, which we're scheduled to be opening this December. So it's very exciting.
December of 2018. Well, congratulations.
Thank
That's
you.
very exciting indeed.
Thank you.
So first of all, All-American is a regional firm, a national firm?
Yes, our headquarters are in Jericho, New York.
Okay.
We have assisted living communities from Savannah, Georgia, all the way up to Saranac Lake, New York.
Successful?
Very successful,
Okay.
yes. So the company has been doing in the assisted living industry since the 70s.
Excellent.
But all that the company is focused on building now are these all-American communities. They've been, very widely received and enjoyed. Our residents do very well, and families seem to love our communities. So this is actually the fourth one now that we have built in Massachusetts.
So if the company's been around since the 70s, but you have four of these, this must be a new, I don't want to say technology, that's the wrong word, but a new trend and a new concept of assisted living. So why don't we dive in and tell us what is different about the All-American community versus, say, something from the 70s?
Sure. So really what it is, and we actually have communities in Rhode Island as well. We just opened one in Warwick, Rhode Island, and in New Hampshire, and we're building in another one in New Hampshire, New Jersey, Long Island. So it's not just a Massachusetts for these all-American communities. But what we did is we tried to create a concept, a product that we could reach more people to be able to afford assisted living long-term. We really, understand that not everybody can afford the $6,000, $7,000, $8,000 a month at some of these communities. So what we did was we tried to create a concept where, like I said, we could reach out to more people, and we did that by creating what's called a companion style of living. So all of our residents have a private bedroom within a 2-bedroom apartment. Private bedroom, door that closes, so it's kind of like having a studio apartment.
Okay.
And then outside of your bedroom studio is another living room, kitchenette, and bathroom. And it's great because every resident makes a friend when they come to the community. They have a suite mate that they can enjoy each other's company, or still have their privacy if they want as well too. But this really helps with the overall financial picture. And it really encourages our residents to be social as well. Our communities, you'll find our residents are engaged, they're active, they're healthy. They're not sitting in their apartments all day, isolating.
I think that's the key concern of any child of a seasoned adult is that our parents will become isolated and be warehoused somewhere. So this sounds like it's a different concept, if you will.
Absolutely, and that's kind of what we saw in some of our other communities that were the traditional studio, 1 bedroom, 2 bedroom. Residents were coming from their home where they were isolated, and then they were coming to our communities, and we really noticed that we have to be very proactive to get them out and be engaged and active, because they can just go into a private, 1 bedroom apartment in an assisted living community and kind of do what they were doing at home and not being active. So this concept really encourages residents to be out and about, 3 meals a day, all restaurant style dining, out on outings, programs in-house. Really, it's kind of like having a bedroom in your home. It's really kind of just where you sleep at night.
Now, you mentioned the economics of it, where it's because it's not a roommate, but because you have shared space, there is a roommate type of feel to the expenses. Is that correct?
Correct. That's correct. And it really helps with the overall financial picture as well. So we also looked at it where we wanted our residents and families to feel comfortable from a financial standpoint when they came to our communities. So what we did was we included our pricing all inclusive. So families have one set price that they know that they're getting into one way or another. And the only difference in pricing is we have a traditional assisted living and we have a memory care assisted living. That's called our Rose Lane neighborhood, and that's for residents that have more of a moderate to progressed cognitive decline, that really need that arms wrapped around you style of care with the security of knowing that it's, there's a passcode to get in and out. So it's really great for residents who have wandering concerns as well too.
And I suppose that is, and just to put a point on it, if I go into the less restrictive, more independent facility, and then as the years go by and I find that I need that level of support, is that guaranteed me? Do I automatically get rolled in?
Correct. All of our residents on our traditional assisted living have first preference to go into our memory care. The memory care, it's purely a cognitive. We have residents on traditional assisted living that could need a very high level of care, but don't necessarily need to be on our memory care.
Right.
We can provide the same levels of care, whether it's grooming, hygiene, dressing, help with taking medications.
So it sounds as though this is the best of both worlds, where you have a regular service, or regular is the wrong word, but the traditional care that you would associate with an assisted living facility, but the environment itself is significantly different and more towards independence and socialization.
Yeah, and that's a good way to put it. I mean, our residents, we want them to be as independent as possible while remaining safe.
Okay.
But our services are always there to be able to support our residents. In our communities, it becomes home for not only our residents, but their families. And we have residents that can stay with us until end of life through hospice services and palliative care services that can come right on site.
Okay.
So
I'm going to remind everybody that we are speaking with our new friend Eric Calderwood. Eric is the Area Director of Community Relations with All American Assisted Living at Rentham. They're opening a beautiful new facility. How many beds? How many
112.
Apartments? 112, fantastic.
Yes.
This is an assisted living community. It's located very close by on Route 1. It's exit 14 off of 495 for those of us who aren't used to coming back the other way. And it's on 30 Ledgeview Way. Now we'll get into how to get to visit it here in a second. Want to remind everybody that you can also reach out to them. Check them out online at www.allamericanatrentham.com. allamerican@rentham.com, or you can call them up at 774-210-8108. Now, if we're opening up in December,
yes,
that must mean that we're completely full right now. There's no reason to stop by. There's no purpose in looking at the joint because it's packed to the gills, right?
Well, we're getting a lot of deposits. We really are. There's a lot of interest in the local community. So we still do have openings for families who are looking to deposit. Okay. We do have a trailer on site where there's about 7 of us managers there, but we're out doing a lot of outreach throughout the day and kind of getting the word out about the community. So we are able to actually visit at our sister communities as well too, for families that kind of want to see the building up
Sure.
and operational and functioning. We do tour a lot of families at our Rainham community and our Hanson, Mass, or Wareham.
So you do have other communities close by. This is not an isolated outpost that's going to be left to fend for itself. It's part of the network.
Correct, exactly.
Okay, excellent.
We have families that are going to our sister communities for short temporary stays until we open. A lot of those folks are residents that are currently in rehab situations. Some of the residents that are coming that are at home, will remain in their home until we do open.
Okay. Now, I guess that brings up another question. This is not a hospital. This isn't some place for respite care. This isn't a place for, medical services. This is a home, a living environment.
It is. It's a community in every sense of the word. We do provide a lot of personal care services, as I had mentioned. Not only with the personal care help, but also, medication assistance. And we do have a full-time therapy team on staff as well too. It's called our Optimal Living Program. So all of our residents, when they come to the community, they're assessed for PT, OT, and speech. And we have a full-time physical therapist, a full-time speech therapist, occupational therapist on site. And we also have a full-time exercise physiologist who's running 2 wellness classes every day on both our traditional assisted living community and in our memory care Rose Lane neighborhood. So,
Sounds wonderful. There's no way I could possibly afford this. What do you tell me when I say that?
Yes, so what we did with the all-inclusive pricing is we packaged everything, as I had mentioned, care, medication assistance, the 3 meals a day, obviously the apartment. It's all packaged in at one rate, which is $41.75 in our traditional assisted living per month. And then our memory care is $6,100, all inclusive again. And we do
It
really...
certainly seems like a reasonable price. It's not...
It is. It certainly is. And like I said, we realize not everybody, we want families and residents to be able to prepare for the long haul and not look at, at this as a short stay, or we're going to have to worry about running out of finances.
Right.
So we wanted to do it in a way where we could reach more people, and the residents that we have could have that peace of mind of knowing, hey, we're not necessarily going to have to, run out of funds and move to a long-term care facility or a skilled nursing facility.
Okay, excellent. That's great to hear. And I assume there are financial counselors available to assist with figuring all the financial obligations out and working through that. Excellent. So as far as being a facility, there's also needs in the certain segments. And so you had mentioned before we went on there about veterans. Why don't we talk a little bit about veterans and how the outreach is going towards that population?
Sure. So, being All-American, we really cater to our veterans. Not only our veterans, but spouses of our veterans.
Good name.
So they certainly sacrificed a lot for us, and we try to do anything and everything that we can to help them.
Okay.
So there is a financial benefit. It's called the aid and attendance benefit. That we have a liaison who meets with all of our families who are either veterans or spouses of a veteran, the spouse of a veteran, to apply for this benefit. It's really it can be a convoluted process if you try to do it on your own. So that's why we have our gentleman Jake, who meets with all of our families, holds their hand through the process, and really makes it seamless. And that benefit almost pays for half of our resident stay on our traditional assisted living. It's $1,825 a month for a veteran, $1,200 a month for the spouse of a veteran.
That's a fantastic give.
It's a really, big piece of the financial puzzle. So every little bit helps, and that's part of, moving into our communities. We really help make that a seamless process to obtain that benefit.
Okay, wow, that's great. So if you have a friend who's a veteran or someone in your family who might be in need, this might be a resource. And again, we're talking to Eric Calderwood. He's the Area Director of Community Relations for All American Assisted Living at Rentham. They also have places apparently in Wareham and Hanson, but we're talking about Rentham, right at the intersection of 495 and Route 1. You check them out at www.allamerican@rentham.com or call them at 774-210-8108. So for opening in December of 2018, do you have scheduled open houses that we can put on our calendar? Do you have do we just drop in and say, hi, I want to pop over and see the place?
Yes.
What's the best way to get a hold of you, and what's the best way to check out the living arrangements?
So the best way really is to give us a call over at the
774-210-8108 will get me into the trailer.
Yes, we'll get you into
and
the trailer.
One of the 7 managers will answer the phone.
Absolutely.
Right.
We're there Monday through Sunday. Saturdays and Sundays we're there from about 10 to 2 or 3.
Okay.
But we're always flexible in meeting with families. A lot of families, like I said, we're meeting them at our sister communities to do tours. Because our Raynham community is the exact same building, the exact same size. So it's really great for families to kind of see everything in operation.
Excellent.
So that's and certainly you can just stop by as well too.
So I always look at some of the issues that might pop up. So maybe I get in and I'm in room 24D and my roommate who's in 24C is a grumpy guy and I can't stand it. Am I stuck? What happens here? Give me some, we all deal with it when we go off to our first dorm room as a freshman in college, and I suppose nothing ever really changes.
Well,
often it works out great, but every once in a while.
9.9 times out of 10, I'll say it works out fantastic. Because what we do is we put a lot of upfront work in making sure that it's going to be a good fit. We're never just going to have 2 residents, even though there's not a lot of time spent in the apartments. It's still, there's some overlapping times, there's some shared space, so we want to make sure it's a great fit. We'll have our residents sit down and have lunch together or dinner together, meet each other, and really get their blessings from both of them.
Okay.
We want to match up personalities, certainly our veterans, that camaraderie that our veterans share. So really, it's not just putting 2 people together for the sake of putting 2 people together. There's a lot of thought put into it. Okay. But if, for whatever reason, we have 2 residents that have a falling out down the road, we certainly have the opportunity to do an internal transfer. Okay. But like I said, 9 times out of 10, it's 9.9 times out of 10, it's a great match from the very beginning.
Okay, awesome. And then I suppose on the flip side, there's no dorm situations. You don't have any shared space for 6, 8, 10 people, right?
No, it's
so
just
this is
the
all
2-bedroom.
Okay, excellent. So this is a very peaceful place, and it's well thought out, and it's replicated from other places that have been successful.
Correct. Yeah. In fact, it's all that the company is building going forward is the All-American model. Just because, like I said, we've been able to reach a much broader sort of audience to be able to afford this and afford it long term. So.
And it sounds as though it's the trend in assisted living is to not be isolated, but to have that socialization aspect.
Correct, yeah.
Beautiful. Well, I'm going to give you the last word. We are so close to being out of time, everybody. I'm going to remind everybody before we do that I'm speaking with Eric Calderwood. He is the Area Director of Community Relations with All American Assisted Living at Rentham. You can reach out to them at www.allamerican@rentham.com. You can call them in the trailer. There'll be 7 managers waiting to get your call to give you the tour and talk to you about living opportunities at 774-210-8108. It's easy to get to. I've driven by it several times, so it looks like it's beautiful coming up. And this program is being taped in November, and you say that we're going to be ready to go in December, huh? So time is quickly approaching.
Time is ticking, yes.
All right.
Yes. And,
so don't delay, give a call, and if you or your family is in need of an assisted living arrangement that promotes socialization and maybe is able to keep the costs down through some shared living space, this might be the place for you. Would that be a fair way of saying it?
That would be a very fair way of saying it.
But I don't work for you. You work for yourself. Why don't you tell us the last word?
All right. Yes, we would love to have anybody come down at any time and visit. We're going to be doing some great events at the community. Our big grand opening celebration is going to be in January after we've been open for about a month or so. We tentatively have a date of January 17th. For that grand opening celebration, but for anybody interested, they can certainly inquire to that number and we can get them on the RSVP guest list. But we're always available. We like to be a great partner in the community, and we're very excited to be a part of Rentham and the surrounding towns. And very thankful for you guys having us on the program today.
Well, thank you very much for joining us, and thank you for being part of this. And it sounds as though this is going to be a great addition to our greater Foxborough community.
It certainly will. It'll bring a lot of great job opportunities for people and
a lot of ways for folks who maybe would be priced out or would need to leave to be able to stay in our home community.
Absolutely.
Beautiful, beautiful. Eric Calderwood with the All-American Assisted Living at Rentham. Thank you for being here on the program, and thank you for joining us. For those of you who may have missed some of the details, you can of course catch us again on this, your favorite local cable channel, or you can log on to our website at www.fcatv.org, Foxborough Cable Access TV.org, or we've got a great YouTube channel. Be our friend, follow us, and get this and all the other great programming we have here, sports, music, Foxborough Central, and all those other things you love about Foxborough. On behalf of all the volunteers here at Foxborough Cable Access, including Alex Perry behind the camera, Paul Beck behind the glass, I'm Bob Hickey, and I hope you have a wonderful day, Foxborough. Take care.